Hi folks, it's finally summer in beautiful South East Queensland Australia. It is the 6th of December 2020. First day of summer was the 1st of December. So it's 6 days into summer. It's finally got hot, which is really nice. It's hot like a good summer. Spring was a little on the cool side if you ask me, but some places a little further west had record heat temperatures, but it was a little cool around here, I thought. A little cooler than last year. But now we're finally into summer. It's finally really nice weather. And we're getting the typical strong sea breezes, which is just beautiful. It's just beautiful fresh air blowing in from the northeast, coming in from the sea. So I always breathe a lot better this time of year, as the strong sea breezes just blow all the pollution from that road away. And yeah, it's just beautiful fresh sea air. And this is just a part of my summer update, but I'll show you how I liquid fertilise my papaya. I'm going to give them a few different nutrients, and perhaps one of the main things I want to give them is the trace elements, particularly these papaya here that you remember I planted these, I think it was about the 20th, 21st, something like that, of November. I planted these in the straw bales, so they've had about 16 days roughly, something like that, to settle in, and they have settled in. You'd be able to see better when you compare the videos, but I think they've grown a little bit. Not much yet, they're just sort of getting used to it. But they're getting plenty of sun, and I think they're quite happy. And over the last couple of weeks I gave them, when I first planted them, I gave them a really light top dressing of Dynamic Lifter chicken manure pellets, Organic Dynamic Lifter. Since then I've given them a fairly heavy dose of the pellets, and they've liked that. But now, being the sugarcane mulch, there's not a lot of nutrient in that mulch that they're growing in, so it's time to start feeding up that ground. So to get a bit of nutrient in there for the trees. And one of the main things it's going to need now is trace elements. But also I'll be giving some food to my custard apple here in the pot. It's going to get some trace elements and some extra nutrients. And I've got 4 papayas here in the ground too, just around the corner there. They're all going to get pretty much the same sort of formula here at the front of the house. So, and at the back of the house, my papayas there are starting to show a few signs of nutrient deficiency. These ones here at the front are pretty good really, but I'm going to give a different formula to the trees at the back, the plants, because the soil's acting a little bit differently. So yeah, I plan on giving an even stronger dose with more trace elements. But even this dose I'm going to make up here in the front, it's going to be fairly strong. A lot of these liquid fertilizers, they say you should use every week, and I guess that's the ideal, but I sort of haven't really got time to do it that often. And you know, all the trace elements, I only need to add the trace elements about twice a year. And they've already got the chicken manure pellets, that they're slow release, so that's fairly regular food. And this is just like a bit of an extra kick along, a few nice liquid fertilizers with trace elements. And copper, I need to get a bit of copper down into the ground just to give them more disease resistance, because in this hot humid weather the papayas can be a little prone to disease, like this even. I'll show you all close up here for you. That yellowing leaf there, now I think that is disease related, and it's very common in papayas in South East Queensland. There's another two there. Yeah, the leaves go yellow, then they sort of dry up like they've been hit by frost or something. The lower leaves. I think that is disease related. If you keep your plants healthy, it's not necessarily a problem. A little bit of it like that, but adding the copper really gives them a chance to resist that. So yeah, I'll just give you a look here at the nutrients I plan to add. Now, I've got a few things here. Oh yeah, and I've got my 9-gallon watering can there. At the most I'm going to use about 2 watering cans on this, probably just one on those 8 or 9 papaya on that edge, and the other one I'll use for those 3 and 4. There's 3 smaller and my big Hawaiian gold there. I'll give them all a bit of food too, and my custard apple here. It's time I give that a bit of food too in the pot. So yeah, what I've got here is Dynamic Lifter Organic Liquid Fertiliser. That's genuine organic. I'll give you a look at the, you can freeze that if you want. They help you read the, what they say about it. It's pretty good stuff. It's pretty good stuff. They say organic plant food liquid. Yates Dynamic Lifter Organic Plant Food Liquid is a natural fertiliser to gently feed all garden plants and improve soil all year round. Feeds and improves soil, dual action formula for leaf and root feeding, feeds plants and improves root development, approved for organic gardens. So yeah, that's one of the best organic liquid fertilisers around at the moment, because there's not too many to choose from around here. So I'll be adding a fairly strong dose of that, plus my sea salt, which, as I've told you before, is great stuff. I think it's a necessity. And when it comes to trace elements, there's about 76 trace elements in seaweed, and all sorts of amazing growth promoters and things that are really good for the roots and general health. It's pretty much a must, this sea salt, I think. Pretty much every time I mix up a spray or liquid fertiliser, I add a bit of this stuff. It's very low on NPK, on nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. But you know, it's just a good range of trace elements and all sorts of goodies that you get from seaweed. And also I'm going to add some power feed. Now I was a bit reluctant to use this stuff at first. This is made by the same people who make the sea salt. They say it's an organic based fertiliser, which essentially means it's not organic. Now it's close to organic, but it's not truly organic. But I found it is pretty damn good stuff. And again, it's you see up here they say power feed is a high potency organically based fertiliser, specifically formulated to provide a dynamic balance of nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, they're your main nutrients, trace elements and amino acids to boost health and growth in all plants, including natives. I'll just get my breath back. Power feed also contains highly active liquid compost that conditions the soil and improves nutrient uptake. It acts as a clay breaker and reduces nutrient loss in sandy soil. Yep, I've noticed that action. It's quite interesting actually. That's one of the things that makes this stuff so good, I think. Power Feed is a fast acting liquid that goes to work immediately and is effective whether applied directly to the soil or to the foliage. So, you know, I'll be giving about a half dose of this. It's going to be a strong mix though, but I'll be adding about a half dose of this, a full dose of the Dynamic Lifter, full dose of the Sea Sol, and also I want to add a bit of this. This is a hydroponic nutrient for flowering plants, bloom booster, and it's pretty damn good actually. There's the analysis there on the back. It's 6.19 in nitrogen, 14.64 in phosphorus. Oh yeah, there's very few fertilisers as high in phosphorus and potassium as this, you know, compared to the nitrogen. So yeah, this is the type of formula you need for your plants to flower and fruit more. Low nitrogen, high phosphorus and potassium. 6.19 nitrogen, 14.64 phosphorus, 16.80 potassium. Yeah, this stuff is a flowering miracle. When I had my small papaya farm up north, I just wasn't getting enough flowers at first and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I just added a bit of this stuff and a few other flowering formulas, and then just pow, everything took off. And my trees, my plants, papaya plants started pumping out the fruit, pumping out flowers and fruit. So yeah, it's a good mix. And they say here, just 5 grams, 1 spoonful in 5 litres of water. So my watering can's 9 litres. You know, maybe 2 spoonfuls, that's about all I'll add to it. And then there's my trace elements. Now this is very important around here, especially in these soils, the very sandy soils, and especially for that sugarcane mulch. It's really going to need its trace elements. So I'll be adding this. Now this, they say, what do they say here? 3 teaspoons in each litre of water. So in 9 litres that's 27 teaspoons, isn't it? 3 teaspoons in each litre, 9 threes, yeah, 27 teaspoons. And I find actually that's a bit too strong. It's what they say, but I've used it and I find it's close to burning a lot of vegetables, for instance. Probably won't hurt the papaya plants, but yeah, I just do think it's a bit too strong. So I often only add about half of what they say. But in this case I might add, well, they say 27, I'm going to add about 20 teaspoons I think. And that's about it. And that should be plenty. And I'll do that 2 or 3 times a year. Maximum, and again, that's plenty. That's all they need, and it just makes a huge difference in plant health and even like fruit development, everything. It's just I find it's an absolute necessity when you're gardening, no matter what sort of soils you have, but particularly sandy soils. Using mulches, or using things like the sugarcane mulch or hay bale gardening, it's basically a necessity. If you don't use it, you're just not going to get as good a growth. You know, you might even find you have problems if you don't use it. This stuff stops the problems, stops the nutrient deficiencies. So I'll just show you how I do this. These containers aren't the best actually, they're a bit awkward I find to get the to get your trace elements. Yeah, I hope you can see that. There's the teaspoons, and I'll just put it down in that. There's oh, I missed it because I was looking at the camera and not the nutrients. Dang. Can I save that? Maybe not. Hey, well, I've lost nearly half of that. But here we go, that's half then, eh? Let's hope I do a better job with the other 19 spoonfuls. Two, 3, 4, 10, 11, 12. See, it's a bit of mucking around. You'd think they'd invent a better way to do this. 18, 19, 20. Now some of those were a little bit less than a full teaspoon, because again, yeah, 27, what they say, I find it's too strong. So there we go, it's like, you know, that's maybe more like 18 even. And I've almost filled the whole container there with trace elements. And I'll just show you another little trick I do. I find if I put those trace elements straight in the watering can and try to mix it up, I use a stick and try to mix it up. Well, even like, well, right now I've got the watering can, there's only a bit of water in the bottom. That's how I usually fill it. There's only about, like a 9-litre can, there's only about 1.5 litres of water there at the bottom. And I'll add all my nutrients and then top it up with the water. I'll have the water on a jet, and that helps to mix it around. I'll show you how I do that. Helps to mix it as I'm filling the container. But then I use a stick as well to swirl it around, mix everything in. And I find these trace elements, they don't mix real well in cold water. And I find it even tends to clog up the watering can, the powder. So that's quite unfortunate. So what I do, and it seems to work fine, is I'll add hot water to that. That's why I've put it in that container. I'll add hot water from the tap, get the water as hot as I can, add it, and that mixes it. And it really starts happening too. There's quite a chemical reaction starts, and fumes start pouring off it. And I've heard it's not recommended to breathe the fumes. Avoid the fumes. But mix it all around the hot water. It could change some elements in some ways, possibly in an adverse way. I don't know, probably not. I think it's probably fine, but it certainly makes it mix in a lot better. That's why I do it. in hot water, swish it around, and it percolates and bubbles and fumes a bit, and then it mixes very well into the watering can, and then it's very easy to apply, and none of the powder gets clogged in the jets or stuck in the watering can. It all goes onto the plants the way it's needed. So yeah, so I'll just switch off, go upstairs and put the hot water in with those trace elements and give you a look at it. And then I'll sit it down here, just sort of let it sit in the hot water for a little while, show you how I add the other nutrients, then I add the trace elements, and then I'll water it onto these plants. Okay. Okay my friends, I've just added the hot water and look at that bubbling up, and I just thought I'd mention that's the most, that 20 teaspoons is the most I've added to one of these 9-litre watering cans in a very long time. Actually I usually use a lot less, so even though it's less than the recommended dose, I still worry it could be too much, hey? Because it's been a while since I've used this much, and I'm a little rusty on the effects, but this will be, you know, in my view, a very, even though it's a fair bit under the recommended dose, in my view this is still going to be a very strong hit of trace elements. But no vegetables are going to get it, only the papaya, so let's see, you know, hopefully it won't be too bad. And yeah, look at it foaming up there. I'm going to have to just scoop that top off, I think, and put it in the watering can, or else it's going to just get wasted anyway. It's going to fall out any minute and get wasted anyway. So yeah, I'll add this to the watering can now. Add this bit of froth. Because it probably needs a bit more of a mix. Yeah, it's still sort of pasty at the bottom. But yeah, see, it's quite a reaction going on in that hot water. And I don't think it makes much difference. Maybe a chemist might be able to say something there, but I just find it makes the everything much better to dissolve. It just dissolves into the water much better. And, you know, there's certainly something going on there. There's quite a chemical reaction going on there, but I'd like to hope most of the elements stay basically the same, and they're just more dissolvable. That's my theory anyway. Okay then, so time to add this stuff. So yeah, I'll start with the power feed. $20 of that. So, you know, here they say you can use up to $90 on lawns. $20 for new planting indoors. New planting $30. Veggies and annuals $50. Maybe I'll do 40 even. Well, it's pretty strong stuff, I find. Anyway, there's 20. I'll just put in the watering can. I'll make it 30 because I am going to add the Dynamic Lifter, a full dose of Dynamic Lifter. So, you know, it's going to be pretty strong, this mix. the beds are wet from last night. Oh, they'd be drying out a bit now, but there's a fair bit of moisture in the beds to begin with. So that's all things to take into account too when you're adding liquid fertiliser. It's not as if it's bone dry or anything. So now here they say in all plants in pots and garden beds 40 to 80 mil. It's 1 to 2 capfuls. So yeah, I'll use 80 mil I think. This has got quite a good measuring cap. It's quite smart how they've done that. The design of that is quite smart. Doesn't make a mess. The way they've got that extra lip there, so you measure it out and it doesn't drip all over the sides of the bottle when you put the cap back on. Okay. Now sea salt, I only need 2 mils a litre there. So 9 litres, well, yeah, I usually just add 20 mil of sea salt, and that's got, it's got a bit of potassium, but basically no NPK. So you can always feel safe about adding that to a liquid fertiliser, and it's just a good extra dose of trace elements and other goodies that you find in seaweed. Okay, so now I want to add this for flowering plants, and this will be really good for my older papaya, my custard apple here, but I'm hoping it will force these new younger papaya to throw out flowers soon too. Because by rights they should be wanting to do that by about January anyway, I think. So this will just help them along, help them to do the job. I need a teaspoon, so I'll use this one. I've got to add this copper too. This is cupric hydroxide. It's a water soluble copper, very soluble. So yeah, and papayas just love this stuff. So I'll add a teaspoon of that, and then I'll use this teaspoon to add the flowering formula. Yeah, it's pretty strong stuff, so you only need about a teaspoon, maybe 2 teaspoons at a maximum. I'm thinking of adding 2 teaspoons around the back actually, because there's a few signs of disease in my plants at the back. They're a lot lower on nutrient, I think, the beds there. Also this time of year, another problem is it's not raining, so I'm using a lot of tap water, and the tap water here is not so good, and it's also too alkaline. Anyway, here's a teaspoon of this flowering formula. I'll add 2 of these. They say a teaspoon per 5 litres. We've got 9 litres, so yeah, I'll add 2. It's just a little bit over what it should be. Okay. Now I just want to add my trace elements, and I'll jet some water into that watering can and mix it around. So here's my trace elements. I'll give it a mix as soon as it goes in actually. Oh yeah, it's very thick. Add a bit of the hose water to that actually. Come out properly. I'm going to jet that. Not a lot of pressure there at the moment actually. Just add a tiny bit to this. The last of these trace elements here. Okay. Swish it around that water. It's hard to mix this stuff too much. The more you mix it, the better. Really gets everything happy. The more you can agitate that water. Okay, there's our 9 litres. And stir it more with a stick. Get it all to dissolve properly. Especially those trace elements. Spin it a bit one way and spin it a bit the other way. That's how they make those biodynamic super fertilisers, hey? A lot of it all just comes down to the agitation. You spin it high speed one way then the other way. Backwards and forwards. Okay, well, I'll take this off the tripod now and just hopefully be able to show you how I just put it on. Okay, well I could do this once with one hand. Let's see if I can still do it. Because actually I haven't added trace elements to my garden since I got sick more than a year ago. Because it was just too daunting for a long time. And now this time I'm going to try it with a camera in one hand. So let's see how I go. difficult. Oh, maybe I can't do it. It's pretty much a two-handed job. See if I can do it with my right hand. Well, you get the gist. Oh, can't do it with the camera. But I'll put that whole water bottle, that whole 9 litres on all of that, and there should be plenty. It should be quite a strong dose. Maybe I'll be able to show you when I put that in, because it's a lot lower to the ground. So I'll switch off now and just do it. Maybe you can see how that stuff's still bubbling. I'll put it in a large container this time. You can see it's still like highly active, it's just reacting like crazy. Just in hot water. And that's been like 10 minutes. It was bubbling a lot more before actually. I find that's the best way to mix it. Okay, I'll see if I can show you this. I made another mix exactly the same, and I'll just put it on these 3 papayas here, and also around this big wine gold papaya. And they should really appreciate that. Oh, still so hard. Oh, it's just almost impossible. Oh, I just don't have the strength to do it with one hand. And the more I wait, the more that stuff's going to settle. And it needs to be agitated a lot. And you wait too long and it just sinks to the bottom. Some solid parts. Oh damn, I was hoping I could show you that. But I hope you get the gist of it. I'll just spread it around all that area. At least a metre around each tree, each plant. And I've done these now. And something I'm going to add to these actually is these things. I've got a few seeds here. I'm going to add a packet of beet seeds and a packet of radish seeds and carrot seeds, and just sprinkle that all on the top. And hopefully I'll get a quick crop of beets, radish and carrots before these papayas get too big and shaded out. Yeah, okay. Well, that's about all I can show you today, I think. I don't know if I'll have time to show you I've got to add nutrient out the back here too, but it's going to be a different mix. I want to add some sulphate, because one of my problems out here is the beds are getting too alkaline from the tap water, and they do that all over the world apparently. They make the tap water too alkaline because when it's too acid it corrodes the pipes too fast, so they make the water too alkaline. Well, they put a little bit on the alkaline side, and then it's not good for health. It's not good to drink, and it's not good for plants. You know, they will survive on it, but you really need that rainwater. See, so things are growing out the back here, but yeah, these beds need a good, they've needed it for a couple of months even actually, a good liquid fertiliser, trace elements, and I want to add a bit of sulphate. Well, I've got a little bit of iron too. I've just got a few little bits and pieces lying around, so yeah, they'll be happy to get a bit of iron, get the trace elements with a little extra iron and some extra sulphate to hopefully lower the pH, get these beds a little bit more acid. I think one of the problems is it's too alkaline, but I'll have to show you that next time I think. I'm not sure if I'll have the energy to show you that today. Oh yeah, and also my bananas, yeah, I've really got to get those traps, because that banana borer weevil, I've really got to pull my finger out in all of those traps. If I want to get fruit, I should have fruit setting this summer, as long as I can keep on top of those banana borer weevils. And this garden's sort of not looking as good. The veggies, I've had to cut back on water because it's been getting a bit too wet for the papaya. Papaya are just getting a bit sour, they don't have enough nutrient, and they're getting a bit too wet, and the papaya is certainly more important than my veggies, so I've been only watering the veggies every second or third day, and that's knocked them round a bit. It's not as thick anymore, but I'm still pulling a lot of food out of there. Yeah, so, oh yeah, and the papayas at the back, they're doing quite alright really. They've grown a bit. But again, they need more nutrient. I gave them some Dynamic Lifter Pellets. I'll go right over there and show you, I guess. I'm giving everything some Dynamic Lifter Pellets. As you can see, all those black spots in here. But it's still not enough, they need more nutrient. They're hungry. They're hungry for more food. But see, they've grown quite alright. They've put on a few feet since winter. But they need more food. So I hope to get that more food to them in some liquid fertiliser in the next couple of days. Same as what I've done out the front. See, and these are hardly grown at all. These really need some nutrient. They're really lacking. And some copper to help them fight disease. Getting a little too wet and not enough nutrient in the soil, so they're getting a little sick and sad. So the sooner I get them some nutrient, the better. Okay, that's about all for today. Bye for now. Hi my friends, it's the 10th of December 2020 And I just want to give you a quick look at my papaya before I fertilise them. You can see, I guess they're not looking too bad. That one up there is doing quite well. Not too badly. But they really need fertiliser. They really need those trace elements and some copper. They're not as big this time of year as I thought they were going to be. I thought they'd be 2 foot higher by now. But they haven't grown much at all. But the weather's good now and they want to grow if I just give them food. They are hungry. That's the problem. And they need some copper. Well, they need trace elements in general, but copper is one thing they will really appreciate. And I'll show you, like that plant for instance, that's about my worst. That one there, it's not happy. I think it's not getting enough sunlight either, and it's too wet. We had a big storm a few days ago, and that should help, but they just don't have enough food. And like that papaya for instance, if that isn't fed soon, that's going to die. I think that's in a bit of trouble. It needs food. It needs nutrient. And even that, see this sort of, the leaf doesn't look so well, does it really? It's sort of, it's sort of little yellow spots on it. Actually little yellow blotches. And the leaf should be a lot darker green. It should be more like some of the more healthy leaves on that papaya there. So yeah, they really need some food. These ones in the little pots are sort of in better condition actually. I gave them some food. They've sort of got enough food for now, I guess. They're surprisingly healthy considering most of them are just in 6-inch pots. They're very pot bound. But fingers crossed I'll have a spot to plant a lot of these soon. Very soon, I'm hoping. I've got to clear out a spot soon. So I'll have some space. But yeah, that bigger one, see how it's sort of dropping leaves. It's got a bit of that disease, and that one there, not too happy. That's another one that'll die very soon if I don't get it that nutrient. So, I'm going to fertilise the ones at the back right now actually, because they're even sadder in a way. I'll just show you them in a minute. But I won't have time to do them all. I've got 5 beds here to fertilise, and it's late afternoon. And for me now, it's damn hard work to cart the watering can around. So I'll just divide it up. I'll do a few this afternoon, and I'll get to these tomorrow, hopefully. Tomorrow or the next day at the latest. They've really got to get that food. I can't keep procrastinating. So they can grow. So yeah, that's one of the healthier younger ones. Just seems to be doing a bit better for some reason. But that one there, yeah, look, it's not too happy, is it? Not happy leaves. See, that leaf will drop off soon too. They need food. They are hungry. Oh, by the way, my black sapote's doing alright. It's even setting some fruit. See, just here. One little fruit there. I think there's a few on it. Maybe I'll show you more of that another time. But I've really got to clear back. I've got to clear a lot of the growth away. Another big job for me anyway. Clear a lot of this stuff away. Mulberry's doing alright too. I can see that looks like the fruit spotting bug again perhaps. Seems the fruit spotting bug does attack the mulberry as well. So yeah, I've got to clear all that away and give the mulberry some room to move, and especially the black sapote. I really want to look after that tree, and it'll look after me if I look after it. But anyway, yeah, look at these papayas here. These have been growing better until now. See, and they are really, they're starving hungry. They're getting quite yellow. They you know, they've grown more than these other ones here. They were getting more light. I think that was the main reason. They were getting better sunlight there for a while. But now the sun's very high, they're getting a lot less sun, because they're sort of getting shaded by these trees in the afternoon. And yeah, there's trees are growing in on it, that ice cream bean's trying to get over and steal the light from them again. But yeah, I want to get some fertiliser on them today. Actually, some liquid fert. And even though they look sadder in a lot of ways, all the leaves, but see, it's a much better spread. They've got a lot more leaves. That they grew better there for a few months, and now they're in trouble. So if I get them the food now, I should have got them before this even appeared, these problems. But if I can get them the food now, they should respond pretty quickly and not look back too much. Yeah, so that's my task today. And I've got a tiny bit of iron, and what else was it? I think I've got another nutrient there too, just a tiny bit, so I'll be giving them that as well. Yeah, and like I was saying, the pH is wrong now too. I think I've got iron sulfate. That will help make the pH a bit more acid, because I've been watering with the tap for so long, and our water is just, it's not so good. And as I was saying, all around the world, even nearly all governments, they give us water that's too alkaline, because if they had it at the correct pH, it apparently eats out the pipes a lot faster. So they give it to us alkaline, so it won't eat out the pipes, but then it's not good for human health, and it's not really good for plant health either, of course. So constant watering with the hose, and my soil's getting too alkaline. That's one of the problems as well. So I'm hoping, you know, the a bit of iron sulfate. Oh yeah, that's it. I've got actual sulfur too. I've got a bit of sulfate, and I've got a tiny bit of iron sulfate. And actually, maybe it's not iron sulfate, but I've got sulfur. So, and I find that doesn't mix real well in a watering can actually. But I will be adding that to these as well. And we'll just see. Hopefully they'll respond quite quickly. Okay, that's about all I can show you for now, I guess. That one there's not looking too bad. But these trees here are starting to dominate. They're getting more light, and they're starting to outgrow these ones at the back. And they're staying smaller. So we just see how it goes. I'm hoping they'll all do fairly well. They are in pretty tight. Yeah, so just a quick little, just give you a quick look at what I'm going to do, and I'll show you some more video again tomorrow, or when I fertilise these. Okay, thanks for watching.